WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinda.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback,
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
And take us along with you. Feedback. All right. And we are right here this morning at 160 Victor Street, WHPR. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research, and my co-host,
Thabiti, and we welcome you to the program.
All right. And I always ask you to do what?
Have pen and paper handy. I demonstrate.
Yes. That is always necessary, important, and is useful. You know, there's so many things that have been taking place. You know, Thabiti, we have this syndicated media that always wants to talk about what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on with Putin. And it blocks out a lot of the information that is taking place around us. Of course, we have other platforms. We have WHPS right here, TV for you, and you can download it on your high-tech equipment. When you go to the App Store, we're told you put in TV 33 on demand, and wherever you go, you can take us along with you. Nationally, one of the things that's being left uncovered is the fact that there is a black woman who hasn't been chosen by President Biden to fill the vacancy that's taking place on the Supreme Court by the judge that is retiring. We were told, I guess, early this morning that Clarence Thomas, who seemed not to want to retire, we don't know why, but anyway, he's in the hospital, and they're reporting that he does not have the COVID virus, but yet they will be keeping him there a couple of days and then sending him home.
Be nice if he went to a psychiatrist while he was there to find out why he self-hates himself, but that's another issue for another day.
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. Yeah, probably won't, but that would be great. In the meantime, while they're once again trying to cover over this young, black, capable woman who is chosen by the president for the replacement, you know, and her interrogation starts today. And I say interrogation because the Senate has approved her in the past for several opportunities and placements, no problem. All of a sudden, now that she's being nominated for a Supreme Court justice seat, there we were, we gotta find out about her. They found out everything that they could in the past. Now, I guess my question is, are they trying to find out, or are they trying to make up fake news?
That's their nature, to create something that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because Lindsey Graham Cracker, that's where I look at him, he was all right with her, and matter of fact, consented when she went to the, I believe it was the federal level for a judgeship. He was one of the ones who supported that. Now he says he don't know if he can support her as a Supreme Court justice, but he's also the one who's been wishy-washy. Even when Trump was in office, he had multiple positions that were, as they say, diametrically opposed to each other. On one hand, yeah, I'm for this, and then all of a sudden, no, I'm not for this, and then Trump shouldn't be here, and yeah, I think he's good to be here, you know. So he needs some psychological evaluation as well.
Right, right. Well, you know, this nomination of Attorney Jackson is good and positive. And the minister in, what is it, South Carolina, is the one who told Biden when he was campaigning for president that he should announce that he's going to nominate a black woman for the Supreme Court.
Is that Clyburn?
Yes, that's it. Reverend Clyburn. Now, the issue that I take with him is that when it came true that the Supreme Court judge, I think Brian is his name, was retiring, all of a sudden Clyburn was saying, well, you need to nominate Childs. You know, she's a qualified attorney, which I'm sure she is. But Clyburn coming in the picture again, telling him to do that. Well, the reason I have an issue with this is because if the president took his advice during the campaign for president and just stated out that he was going to nominate a black woman for Supreme Court, and now that the opportunity has come about, and Clyburn steps in once again and says now that you can nominate a black woman, you need to pick this one over here, Attorney Childs. Now, you know, that could be all twisted around like, yeah, you doing everything that N told you to do. Yeah, look at that, you know. And that would be an opportunity to look at him negatively, would not be good at all. So when he picked the young lady who worked for Supreme Court Judge Brian, that was a recommendation from the judge. The judge had an opportunity to experience her value, her qualifications, her experience in the court, you know, there with him, and her efficiency. So
I hear a doorbell. I just want to let our engineer know. But, you know, the thing is I think she even served under Ketanji Jackson Brown, the one that we're discussing. Yes, she even served under him as, I'm not sure the official title, but she did work under him while he was Judge Stephen Breyer was, still is at this point, Supreme Court Justice. So she has direct experience with the man that she's slated to replace.
In the Supreme Court,
right.
On the Supreme, yes.
And the other thing is when they were rushing this Amy Bryant through, Mitch McConnell and the knuckleheads were pushing her through and got her, I believe, nominated in less than 30 days. I believe it's like 27 days. Now they want to stretch out Ketanji Jackson Brown, who is more superior in all of her background, academically, the widespread experience that she's had as public defender and other titles within the judicial system. So she's far above not only Amy Coney Bryant, but 3 or 4 others, because I've heard people who have discussed this say, yeah, you know, she's superior in her qualifications. But, of course, we know this is America with 3 Ks, so we expect them to behave in a certain way. And their racism is so deeply embedded that they don't even see it. It's just natural, like breathing for them. That's how deep their prejudice and bias is, that they can't even see it, because it's just like waking up in the morning. They just wake up that way.
Yeah, that's sad.
which is why we have to get together as a people and wake up
Right.
too.
Exactly. Yeah, I believe they call that systemic racism. You know, motivation is something that we need to talk about and encourage. You know, currently across this country, there are states that have gone out of their way to change the laws to make it more difficult for black people, in particular, people of color in general, to vote. Just, you know, now that he's president and this black woman is on the line for Supreme Court judge, we got to do something. And we have voting rights bills that are waiting to be reviewed, and they're still on the back burner.
Well, part of our issue too is out in Arizona, Senator Sinema, and in Virginia or West Virginia, one of the two, Joe Manchin, are the blockades which have kept us from being able to advance any of that. Since it's a 50-50 split in the Senate, if those two were in their right mind, there's somebody else who needs a lobotomy, some kind of psychological evaluation. But Joe Manchin and Sinema are both. Whatever the Democratic Senate wants, they are the two who are defiant. And Manchin even shook hands with Biden at one time, saying he would agree to go with something, and then a week or two later, he just reneged on his word. So, and my grandfather said that you are in, no matter what color you are. It's just your behavior makes you an in. So definitely Joe Manchin is an N-word, and I've used it to him too. I've heard comedians use the N-word when they speak about somebody who's Caucasian because it's a behavior, not an identity for a race.
And it seems to me that the National Democratic Party is not doing what it could and should to make things move along.
They're weak.
Right. And the state Democratic Party is not doing what it could and should either. And that makes me wonder how many of the people in the National Democratic Party and the state Democratic Party are not Democrats.
That's a good point. Unfortunately for them, though, and maybe they need evaluation. I'm putting everybody out for evaluation today, but maybe since they don't behave in a way that they should democratically, but they are of the Democrat Party, they put themselves in a position to lose their jobs because they identify with Democrats, so the Republicans are automatically going to vote for, support Republican candidates. So even if they don't do what they should as Democratic politicians, which means they'll be out of work before they know it. Because, it could be all Republicans, if there's, let's say, 80 in the Michigan state legislature and the Democrats don't do what they're supposed to do, there'll be 80 Republicans because the Democrats don't seem to have a platform. They don't seem to have a voice. They don't seem to have a backbone. They don't even seem to have a direction or a destination. They just there.
Yeah. And it could be because most of them are white. And in the systematic racist system, they are not interested in working on behalf of the total community, which includes black folk in particular and people of color in general. So since they're, I guess, would you say, might teetering on the fence, they fall on the side of the Republicans. And so it makes it more difficult to organize and motivate the people of color to take the power, to understand the power, to understand the value of the vote.
It's first you said racism a few times, so I'm just kind of lean up a little bit, and people can see I got this shirt on from Mark Cummings. Are you tired of racism?
Hey.
Hell yeah. We're
Right.
tired.
Tired of it.
But they still, it's like we're in a union together, and you and I are running for the let's say the vice president position of the union, and let's say you would garner the women's vote maybe more, and I would garner the men's vote. But unfortunately, one of us decides that, well, I'm not going to I can speak to the issues of women and maybe represent the men, and you just want to represent the women. So I'm kind of bailing on the guys, just for the sake of it, in order to try to get everybody to go along with it. So the Democrats are kind of weak. They say, oh, we're going to be inclusive. I guess the best example I could give is when President Biden gave his State of Union address. And one of the themes of the last couple of years was defund the police. So during his address, he made some comment more or less saying that, and we're not going to defund the police. So he was catering to Republicans who were pretty much on that platform. We don't want to defund the police, which was a bad phrase to use. They didn't think that out, and words are important. But the fact that he said that let the Republicans know. And matter of fact, they stood up and cheered him, which was rare during his State of the Union address, and I didn't catch the very beginning of it. But they stood up and cheered him for him on that. So he was just kind of saying, look, I'm one of y'all, more or less. So that's what we're dealing with when we deal with the Democrats, as you say, on a state level. Well, we're Democrats, but we're one of you.
Yeah. But what's so sad about that is it's not really about defunding the police as it is rearranging the way that the money is spent. There is a need for the police department to do more training in the area of mental illness. There are people out on the street who are committing crimes, and they should be serviced somewhere. They shouldn't be on the street committing, crimes. And there's not enough concentration on addressing that issue.
Chief James White was interviewed over this past weekend or late last week, and the reporter was asking him about, well, what do you do when you have someone who is obviously mentally disturbed and not a criminal, but they have a mental thing? She asked him, how are you set up to deal with a situation like that? And he says, well, they're trying to get, I guess, resources together where they can deal with someone who has obviously a mental issue and not a criminal behavior type of way that they do things. But in his answering the question, he basically said what you're saying. They don't or not equipped to really handle somebody who has a mental issue. But that person had, somebody called the police on. People have died as a result of somebody calling the police on someone with a mental issue, and the police, the only thing they're trained to do, and I don't,
shoot and kill.
Yeah, it says protect and serve, but it depends on what you look like, depending on whether they will protect and serve you or monitor you and harass you and profile you, because we know that the Caucasian race is not profiled at all. And I used this as a joke one time, or just a smart aleck remark to you one time when I said, if I wanted to rob a place, I would go in and have security follow me and have another white guy that was my partner go and loot the place. And then while they following me, he clean them out, and we just both split the loot.
Yes, because of the kind of attitude that they have towards people of color and black folk in particular.
And I've kind of changed that phrase. Now, we were talking about defunding the police, which once some people latch on a phrase, they take it and they use that obviously against the Black Lives Matters and other. But one of the phrases that I've kind of rephrased for my own benefit is they say people of color. I've changed it to people with color, which makes a difference to me, you know, and then it just cites, you know, people of color. What does that mean? I say people with color, and that means, and another thing I want to say, I heard this on the one of the programs. I kind of knew what the percentages were, but we refer in America as, we're referred to, or we refer to ourselves, or allow ourselves to be referred to as a minority. But as someone said, when you look at it globally, Caucasians are 10% or less of the global population. So that means basically 90% or more are people with color. And I think that when we start trying to look at ourselves with phrases that really heighten or lift us up, as opposed to taking something that the dominant society has given us, and then we just say what they say, and then so we believe what they believe, and the inferiority complex and those other things come into play.
And it continues on. You're right. The thing that comes to mind as I was listening to you is the governor of the state at that time, John Engler, who had calls made, I'm sure, to the various mental health centers and told them, this is it. It's your last day. Turn out the lights, put everybody out, go home. That's it. You won't be coming back to work anymore. Just cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. And the people who were in the centers were then out on the street. Just out there. He didn't care.
That's when we think about, when they speak about man's inhumanity to man, they don't look at it on that level. They look at other things. But, excuse me, that's one thing that I think is very critical, is that there's no humanity when it comes to, and I would say this too. I was in a little back and forth with a guy on Facebook who was obviously Caucasian, and I was telling him, I say, look, he says, you know, something about, yeah, well, that's why we're exploring other planets so we can get out of here. And I said, look, and then I said, look, I said, do you think that Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and all these multi-million billionaires, I say, you think they're going to take your poor white butt with them? I say, you stuck here with the rest of us. And then he just said, yep, you're right.
Oh, my goodness.
I say, your whiteness will save you in this case. But you know, I try to have an intelligent and not antagonistic dialogue with those who I come in. I say, yeah, they ain't taking your poor white butt either. You stuck here with us. And when I said that, he just kind of came to his sense. He said, yeah, I guess I will be stuck here with the rest of it, because he said the earth is a ghetto. That's what started me.
With the conversation.
Yeah, with him. I said, okay, because every now and then I go back and forth with one of them, because I heard something recently, and I like that. One of the brothers that was speaking, he says, sometimes when you speak to a Caucasian, sometimes if you start saying things that make sense and dropping knowledge or science, they say to themselves, they say, oh, no, well, we better leave him alone. He's not one of them. In other words, he's somebody who knows something, so we can't try to make him feel less than, because he already knows what's up. And they do screen us that way. If you start speaking in a certain way, and this is important for all of us, you start speaking in a certain way, they already understand, like the people for Hood Research, they already know. Don't mess with Sylvia. Don't mess with Theo. Don't mess with Clementine. Don't mess with them, because we know what time it is. And speaking of time, we're at the bottom of the hour.
Oh, my goodness. All right. I'm so glad that you all have tuned in today, and know that you can call in while we're on a break, 868-4336 or 868-0351. And we shall be back momentarily.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
This is Theo Broden from Feedback. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
Everybody settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2,
Get out of this one. Twist a little turn. Ta-da! It's showtime. It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
Wally Woolman here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the
chew
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
I've always been a runner, but I've never run from anything, and neither has my city.
Do you want to be a Detroit police officer?
Sir, yes, sir! Amen!
It's something special to protect the people closest to you, the ones you've known all your life, your neighbors, your friends. I was born in this city, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. That's why I wear the shield.
Feedback. Feedback. Feedback.
Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinda.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
And take us along with you.
Feedback. 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 With you. You know, Thabiti, I was just so annoyed by the way that the syndicated media is blocking a lot of the news and information that we need to know in the community that I didn't give shout-outs this morning. And I definitely want to do that. And if you know if somebody is having a birthday and you want to say happy birthday to them, please call in and do so and say so. But I'd like to say good morning to Rosa and Vera. Good morning to Ron and Mark and Carl. Good morning to Katrina and to David. And good morning to Al and to Henry. You don't want to say good morning to?
I want to give shout-outs to Brother Professor Griggs and Brother Mark Cummings. Again, you see I got your shirt on, Mark. And Brother James Ford, Obama Weekend, for those of you who don't know. We want you to become involved in that, too. James Ford considers, as we all do, President Barack Obama to be exemplary when it comes to how a politician and a man in general should conduct himself. He's held himself at the highest level. And to round it out, shout-outs to Cheryl D., Ruth Ann, Jackie, thank you for the links you've been sending me. A lot of positive things about black people, which is what we need to be able to do. Let us not look at the negative things and we highlight the negative things about each other, but let's lift each other up and not put any of us down, especially not in public, because we're all we got. We may not get along, we're all family, but we're all we got. And I want to ask all of you to have your friends, neighbors, acquaintances, co-workers, church members to tune in as well, and to chime in as well. You know, opinions matter, and we need to be able to vocalize what we think in order that we all share a common issue. So let us all speak in common with each other as well.
Mm-hmm. And follow Hood Research on Twitter as well. You know, there's so much that goes on, and we need to get input from everybody on ways to motivate the voters. You know, if our vote was not important, people would not be trying to take it away. And when I think about motivation and voting, the first person that comes to mind is Stacey Abrams.
Yes.
You know, this is National Women's Month, and I really would hold her up to be one on the top of that list, because Stacey Abrams, you like to say, single-handedly made sure that Pastor Warnoff and Ossoff became senators for the state of Georgia. Now there's going to have to be a campaign for Warnock again, because he was filling out an unexpired term. But she did a yeoman's job of motivating the voters in the state of Georgia, not just one community, city of Atlanta, but the whole state. She organized and motivated people to work with her to get voters out and come on and let's do this, and the importance of it. And her playbook or instruction book should be followed to help replicate that all over this country, because as we know, there is a movement afoot to change state laws to make it more difficult for us to vote.
We have to do that, and I want to just say I'm in total support of women in general and black women specifically, because many have led the charge, not only here, but on the continent of Africa, where I think of Queen Nzinga. And we have a caller, so we're going to allow the caller to share an idea.
All right.
Hello, caller, you're on the air. Would you give us your name and how you're viewing us, please? Hello, caller, you're on the air. Make sure I got all my buttons right here.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, caller. You're
Silverado.
There she is. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I listened to something Sabiti said about how we should uplift one another.
Yes.
You know, we need to outweigh the negative to access the positive always.
And don't mess with Mr. In Between. Yeah. I definitely agree with you. And
yes, there is a Black Channel News that you can go to through Facebook, and they have some very positive articles. You can pick and choose which ones you want to listen to.
Oh.
But I'm impressed with the women that are supporting and helping Black women that decide to help the students get out of Ukraine.
Oh, yes. There were 15 students, and they were not helping them to leave.
Yeah, I actually saw some footage where, and it was disturbing as well. I've got one that I recorded where a brother was interviewing an African student who said that they were telling him that, well, what you need to do is pick up a gun and help us fight. He and this brother was from the Congo, by the way. He said, yeah, this is not my fight, you know. And they wouldn't let them get on the train. And I actually saw them physically push a sister who was a student, African student, off the train while letting the Ukrainians get on. And so, you know, at that point, I'm going to be honest with both of you. At that point, I just said, well, I don't really have that much sympathy for Ukraine because they're practicing racism and they're leaving our African students in a war zone,
Right.
and they concerned with their own. So how can I feel any sympathy for them when I see my brothers and sisters still experiencing racism over there?
And when they pulled her off of that train and threw her on the ground, they told her, this train is for white people.
Right. So, I mean, that's let Putin and Europe deal with their issues.
Yeah.
One of the things
Putin and Ray Ray. Oh,
one of the things I shared with somebody too when I thought about it, I said when you think about World War I and World War II, the African continent was not concerned about what Europe was doing with each other, nor were the people of South America, Central America. That was just Caucasians fighting Caucasians. That was their problem, and I'm glad to see that, they're soliciting aid for Ukraine, but we got problems in Ethiopia and Sudan where there's wars going on, and nobody seemed to care about that. But when, Mr. Charlie and Daisy have a problem, and they want everybody to sympathize with them, I can't do that. I'd be two-faced if I did.
Right.
Yes. It's amazing how many of blacks want to get into a war that's not theirs. But when it comes down to your own kind, you don't have the same energy to gather up and to help. So I have to do a shout out for the black women because they raise money and help those students trapped in Ukrainian get away. That's the kind of superpower we need to keep in our minds every day and every hour.
Yeah, from what I heard, they had raised, at least the last time I had heard, over $60,000 to help get the students out of there. But, why? Yeah, but again, we can see that we talked, Theo mentioned this a couple of times during the show, racism. So we look at systemic racism, institutional racism, and then in the case of Ukraine, international racism, because they still haven't changed their point of view. And I even know that in Britain or United Kingdom, whatever they want to call themselves, they got so many names, that they were speaking about the high incidence of racism, particularly in London and some of the other major cities of Great Britain. So we're dealing with an international issue, which is why I say I can't sympathize with somebody who has no sympathy for my people. I just can't do it. If the playing field was level and you treated everybody humanely and as humans, then I could, open my arms and embrace all. But I can't do it when there's that segment that you just kind of cast to the side, disposable people, I guess. I won't be a party to that.
Kabidi, they raised $250,000.
Wow. I'd love to hear that.
Yes, I love it. They said we're coming for our own.
And that's powerful too. Now that doesn't make the news. Like Theo, you always speak about the syndicated media. Yeah, they don't mention that, how we came to save our own. But let us keep in mind, we must save our own.
Right.
Who's going to save us?
Right. Yeah. And little by little, we got to help people to understand that their money adds up. Collectively, it adds up. And when you're spending your money outside of your city, all of the necessities don't have to be purchased outside of the city. I realize there are, maybe some things that are not available in town. But then when you talk about food as an example, Kroger's is not inside the city, but Myers is. Myers is every bit as large and abundant with food items as Kroger. So why would it be?
And they have more varieties too.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So why not go to Myers and get familiar with it and find out that they have what you need?
Yeah, they cover a lot of stuff, clothing, automotive, as well as food, and the necessary staples. And along with that, and I appreciate you saying it, Theo, because one of the things that's important is, remember, like as Theo said, there's no Kroger in the city. So if you're paying for goods from Kroger, you're helping the tax base of whatever city, whether it's Oak Park, Southfield, etc. When you buy from Myers, they are paying taxes to the city, a city in which you live, a city that provides services for you and does need that taxable income to be able to provide the services, whether it's police, whether it's street lights, whether it's cleaning sewers, whatever it may be. Those are things that are essential to Detroit residents, so you should support Detroit businesses. We start with African American businesses, but let us advance to all businesses that are in Detroit that pay taxes, that make sure that you can have a better quality of living, because we already know that if you're buying something in Oak Park, Dearborn, and Southfield, none of that money comes home. And I guess the last thing I'll say on that is that we again speak that we have indisposable income, money that we can use for just other purchases, cars, etc. We have $1.5 trillion. Now, if let's say we blew $1 trillion, which we blowing it all anyway, but that 500 billion that out of the 1.5 trillion, if we use that 500 billion to help build our own communities and infrastructure, businesses, etc. $500 billion is a lot of money.
Right.
And we don't have to blow everything on Ciroc and designer jeans with holes in them and all this and that. We purchase things that lose their value immediately, and you can't bring them back. It's just like once you get it, you stuck with it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm glad you said that the monies that we're being consumers and giving wealth to somebody else, we can help the black farmers, because they fighting a lawsuit with the federal.
That's right.
The lawsuit that halts them from getting the federal money that they need to stay afloat.
Right.
And that would be a good movement to take those dollars and help those farmers, because land is important. And that's what the colonizers destiny, and that's what they do, is to transfer wealth. And it starts with taking away land, jobs,
and
opportunities, education.
Absolutely.
That's what they're good at doing, taking these things away from us. And that's where we need to have movements to build those type of structures.
And when 45 was president, he actually had passed some bills, but less than 5% went to black farmers, which means 95% went to white farmers. And there was no big noise or nothing about them getting all their money. Soon as Biden wants to try to, let's get this ship right, and it's because leaning to one side. Once he tried to do that, now all of a sudden the black farmers got to go through all different types of lawsuits and everything, as if we're being favored, but we were ignored initially. Now they're trying to get things right, and no, wait a minute, this black thing, man.
Yeah, they allowing white farmers to have a lawsuit to halt the federal benefits. And Joe Biden's going to come out, if you black, vote for me. Okay, so we can see how we can get dismissed again.
You're right. So I'm waiting to hear some.
It's on us to do for us, that's all.
Right, and I'm waiting to hear some additional information on this voters' right. That bill is still on the back burner. And the one for George Floyd. I don't hear any conversation anymore about that one.
I heard somebody say, and this makes a lot of sense. Now, of course, they're trying to run it through the Senate and the House, but they said, and I agree, they say, okay, well, if it goes through the Senate and the House, of course, it becomes law and it's legal. But at this point, if Joe Biden can temporarily write an executive order, which I understand he can, then he should just do that now, and we'll deal with this temporary thing until we can get something permanent. Because right now, with them dawdling about, as you said, feel we haven't heard nothing about it lately.
Right.
So if he can just sign an executive order, which automatically, just kind of quells all of this nonsense that the Republicans are doing, then at least for this 2022 election, we've got, something that's been done by executive order that will will nullify what Texas and Florida and these other states are trying to do. And then we can only hope that, at some point that will become permanent law through the legislative branch being the Senate and the House of Representatives. But like you say, nothing's being said now. So we just like in the water like a boat without a rudder. We don't know which way we're going.
Without a life.
Yeah,
without life jacket.
Yeah. Whatever happens, we just kind of rolling with the tides.
Right.
Swim or drown.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same old day, same old song and blues. So I try my best to find good news when I can find it. I think they're saying it's a live special coverage, a U.S. Supreme Court confirmation hearing. Starts, I think, at 10 this morning, Monday beginning at 10.
At 10, okay.
Yeah.
And I want to add this, and this is to everybody who's listening and viewing. When I pick up my granddaughter from school, and one of the things, getting back to the economics, I explained to her, she's 13 now, I explained to her, I say, well, look, we have to, about spending money with African American businesses. I say, yeah, and she goes to me to some of the places that I'll go to. But I explained to her, I say, look, if we own the businesses, then that means we can hire our people to hire other people to run it who live in our communities. I say once we take that money out, because I think her and my daughter went to Great Lakes Crossing or someplace, but anyway, it was not in the city of Detroit. And I say, well, that money helps build up those communities, whether it's Brighton, Novi, Troy, it doesn't matter. And sometimes we feel like we privilege ourselves when we say, oh yeah, we went to dinner in Troy. And I had a family member say, oh yeah, we went to dinner in Novi. That's a big deal because you want to seem, and it seems like we're always looking for something for self-esteem. We have a problem with esteem within our communities and within ourselves, which is why we end up trying to do things that the so-called dominant society does, because it seems to elevate our stature in our neighborhood to say that we did that. We don't really need that. We should be secure within ourselves to say that we're comfortable with what we have and what we create. We don't need to go and say, yeah, well, we just went shopping at Saks or something. We too much of the time are looking for some praise or to say, look, I'm better than. It's like back in the day, Malcolm said, he said, yeah, a brother or sister say, yeah, I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in my neighborhood, as if that meant something. And that the people in that neighborhood didn't want you there. We got to get out of that mindset of that we got to try to prove something to feel good about ourselves. We should feel good about ourselves anyway. As you said, when we look at the Hidden Figures, ladies, we got a lot to feel good about.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we have to get away from selfish behaviors. That me, myself, and I.
Right.
Ain't nobody do it. Somebody had to help you to get to be an I.
Right. And what else, Sylvia? We are hearing that March is International Women's Month, but Black History Month should not just be restricted to February, because it's 365 days of the year that our people have incurred various issues and have figured out what would work better. And voila, they have invented a new way to do whatever the situation needs. And this is something that goes on constantly. And we have so many thousands of people who have invented things, have created better ways of accomplishing whatever the issue or the deed happened to be. And that's why we talk about it so often, Thabiti and I and Mark, and we just want people to know that we're not against Dr. Martin Luther King. We're not against Rosa Parks. And who's that other one they tried out? Harriet Tubman. We're not against anything, but every February, that's what we hear about. You know?
Yeah.
Well, what about the other people, the lady in Hidden Figures, her even name was Johnson.
Right.
And
Catherine, yes.
Catherine Johnson. And what about mentioning her, more often? What about mentioning Sojourner Truth? That's my hero. You know, what about mentioning
Ella Baker?
Yeah, all of the ones who have accomplished much as well. And that's not to say that those other three little people that they trot out every February didn't accomplish some big deeds. But it does say that we have many more people that need to be credited, and they need to be put up on a pedestal there, if you will, to have them as role models for our young children.
Yeah, Fannie Lou Hamer, Shirley Chisholm. We need to hear more about them. And I got to throw this little thing from left field in real quick. As we know, this past March 17th was St. Patrick's Day. Now, some people I know had the nerve to send me Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I didn't respond to them, but I did put a couple of things on Facebook. One of them was a meme, which is basically a picture with a statement on it, that they had a picture of Bill Cosby, and it said, and it says, do Irish people celebrate Black History Month?
Right.
So what are we celebrating St. Patrick's Day for?
Well, on the other hand, Vera has some historical information that she talked about on the Saturday show that we do on what I call a phone cast. And St. Patrick was actually a black man. And what is happening?
Santa Claus.
Yeah, right. Another issue. And over the years, it has been watered down, and he's been bleached out. And actually, he is one of us. And so she read the information on the show and told us.
I'm glad you brought that up, because think about it. If we're going to celebrate these holidays, we should have the Black history behind it. So when we come to represent, we have it on our persons to represent history and our name, and not make it just Irish or make it just Christmas, but make it about how Blacks are the inventors of this, that, and the third. And have that on our T-shirts and our celebrating and our decorating that particular holiday, so that others will get the education of what it really is, what it really means, where it really came from.
Right. Well,
because that way we can educate ourselves and others while we out there celebrating what they think belongs to them. We can put some clarification on it.
Absolutely.
Well,
put some education clarification on it.
There you go. Boy, it was so interesting how fast Juneteenth was converted into a holiday in the United States. I don't know if anybody noticed, but all of a sudden, Juneteenth, which is June the 19th, is going to be acknowledged by the federal government. But I kept thinking what that really means is that these white corporations are now going to sell you a grill.
Right.
And the grill is going to have Juneteenth, Happy Juneteenth on the lid. And then you're going to be able to buy lawn furniture. And the lawn furniture for Juneteenth will be in red, black, and green. Red, black, and green lawn furniture, right?
Just like they do with the African attires and the dashikis and all the things that originally came from us.
That's
They're
right.
marketing it,
and they'll be selling it to us. And they'll be selling all of that on Juneteenth. Now hold on just a moment. We're at the top of the hour, and we gotta stay for station identification. But we will be back momentarily.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Thabiti Mpinda from the Feedback Program. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
All right, everybody settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, you gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime. It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome our first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
Wally Wallman here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the
chew
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the germ. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are continuing to struggle through difficult times with a global pandemic, now in its 3rd year. If you have delinquent property taxes for tax years 2019 or prior, you must be enrolled and current in a payment plan by March 14th or paid in full by March 31st to avoid foreclosure. There are payment plans available to help save your property. Visit our website at treasurer.waynecounty.com or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com for further information. We're here to help.
2. You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am the BD Mpinda,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback.
To take us along with you. And also, as I mentioned earlier, about the high-tech information and the fancy phones that people have, you can also download 910 Superstation, iHeartRadio, and on Sunday nights at 11 p.m. You can also hear Hood Research. We do all 3 shifts, Sylvia, mornings, afternoons, and nights. On Monday morning at 9 a.m., it's a Monday morning show. On Saturday, it's afternoon from 3 p.m. until 6. And then on Sunday night from 11 p.m. until 1. And
Night Talk.
Night Talk in Detroit. And you know, we learned that this congressional race that's coming along has Sharon McPhail included in it. And
oh, really?
But also in it is Sharif Thanader, and you know he throws his money around, which seems to work. He just got elected as state rep, so now he's trying to hop to another seat. You know, so it makes you wonder: are you in this for the money, or or for the opportunity to make some positive changes? Hey.
Has he done anything in his current position that either one of you know about?
Not that I know about. I mean, he may have, but as far as I know, it's not been reported on the news. So,
well, then that means he ain't doing nothing. Because if you're doing something, people will know.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to say quickly, and this was based on a conversation before the break, Sylvia had mentioned about how I guess in some respect or other they taking things from us or we don't get credit for it. One of the things I also discovered over the past week was that some of the designers like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Burberry, they actually have gotten those prints and things that they use from people who were on the African continent. And so they went there, they looked at what we had, and then they came back to their factories and produced things that had the same prints that we had created. So they've been appropriating our culture for a long time. Yeah, because you had mentioned about the dashikis, and I remember when that became in vogue, and then the old Hudsons at the time. Yeah, they started mass producing them because here's a market we can tap into. So we have to be aware of that stuff. Yeah, so Burberry. Go ahead, Sylvia.
Also, what we have to get through our people is that the white society systematically forces black people to live under their false white, exalting black, marginalizing narrative. Black people are the unknowing victims of the longest ongoing and most detrimental form of gaslighting, warfare, mental abuse in history. Those black people that accept the false narratives that are being imposed upon them as being true are the ones that become self-loathing and mentally enslaved by white society. See, we still don't know that we're mentally lynched while they're taking all our talents away from us at the same time.
Yeah, it made me think about, I thought about this over the last month or so, how when Patty Hearst was abducted by the Symbionese Liberation Army, how she was kind of exonerated because they figured that they had programmed her. And so why I say that is because we've been programmed and we don't know how to deprogram ourselves. We've been brainwashed, and it's hard to unbrainwash us. So we follow so much tradition because it's tradition, but it's not true and it's not fact. So that's why when they sent me the St. Patrick's thing, and when they sent it, they didn't send it with the understanding of St. Patrick being black. They just wanted to go along with the Irish theme. My granddaughter had something to agree. The teacher had told her to wear some agree. I said, Lord have mercy. That's what I told her about. I said, well, do Irish people celebrate Black history? So you know, and it's like, nah, well, okay, then let's keep things in perspective.
That's right. That's right.
And I mean, when I went to school, I wore green too. I didn't have no knowledge of self or anything, so I followed. But that's the programming which we've got to deprogram ourselves.
Exactly.
And that's going to be hard.
Yeah, and you know that is a conversation that they have, and they put it in movies and books, and in our community, seeing as how music is something that we have used for decades and decades. If you even go back to the slave day, you know, and you hear about the songs that they used to hum to let people know where to come and meet them when they were getting ready to escape, you know, and the lyrics in the songs then would identify when and where, what time, the condition, etc. And time goes on, and then songs start to describe conditions. And then songs, you know, go on when you think about the blues, the conditions, and then you move on. And then, of course, I've already talked about the young ambassadors at Motown who were going around the world, right? And then it seems to me that the systemic racists said, no, we can't have people around the world respecting black folk in America.
Right.
We got to do something about that.
Right.
So the next genre of music was the hip hop, which started out being positive. The rap, the spoken word was positive, and now we have this what they call gangster rap, and it's telling young people to go out and kill somebody.
You know,
how you do that?
What's interesting too, when you mention Motown, Theo, is that all of the things, whether we dealt with ball of confusion, you know, political things, or whether we deal with the love songs, you know, all of our songs covered, let's say, all different types of topics, but there was nothing negative about it. So when you listen to hip hop, and I love hip hop, you know, some of it anyway, none of it, you don't have real love songs in hip hop. You don't have anything for the greater extent, or at least we're not hearing it, that promotes something positive. But in Motown, even if they got into political issues, war, what is it good for, what's going on, inner city blues, there was nothing that was said that was negative that you would take in, and it was demeaning to the community, because we dealt with all those different topics within it. And hip hop is just one thing. It's all about glamorization, about materialization, about selfishness. I've got the Benz, I've got the women, I'm blowing money at the bar, I'm making it rain. So nothing is said that glorifies the community in a positive way. It's all negative. And that's something that, like your button says, turn it off. We got to turn off the negativity and promote the positivity. Now, one of the issues with that, I'll just say this, is that a lot of our music, just like back in the day with the blues and the rock and roll, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, the dominant culture bought more of our music than we did. They had the money for it. And it's the same thing in hip hop. The dominant culture, particularly the youth, they're so influenced by young black male and female rappers and performers. They are the ones who sustain it, because our money would not sustain those rappers if it was just us buying it. And then we find ways around buying it anyway. We learn how to share with each other. So unfortunately, they're feeding that. Oh, we do have another caller here, so let me lock Sylvia in and go to our next caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Well, this is James Ford from Obama weekend, but I can't see you, so I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't want to break in.
Go ahead.
Okay. Look, I just want to say quickly, and as I want to reiterate what I said last night, we got all the football scores of gossip and all that kind of stuff, but we got to get busy thinking about these midterm elections.
Right.
The Republicans are coming, and they're using this war and inflation. I'm in Florida. I see it. They got what you might call election police down here that they're going to incorporate going around the voting polls and booths, and even before to start checking people about voting. And that's going to intimidate people to vote. So got to get out there, find some voters. We got to push voters voting early, especially in this midterm, because they are coming to get us. They are painting Kamala Harris as being ignorant, a person. We know better than that.
Oh,
and
wow.
they're going after Biden. Yes. I watch Fox News to know what the enemy is doing.
Right.
So we're going to have to get out there, and I'm going to just leave it alone right now, but we got to get busy. This is some serious stuff down here, and I'm talking about all states. We know the girl in Atlanta is doing her great job, but we need some more, Stacey Abrams. God bless you. Thank everybody, and I'm going to get off the phone. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for calling. Bye.
Bye.
You know what's interesting? He said election police. Well, we don't have a great relationship with the police anyway, and now we got election police who are down there intimidating people. And I think that here in Michigan, I can't think of the attorney general. It's not Nessel. Is Nessel the attorney general?
Yeah.
Okay. And I believe Jocelyn Benson, they both have said, tried to establish something where you cannot have a firearm within 100 feet, I believe it is, of any polling place. But just the fact that we even have to have that conversation about firearms anywhere near an election thing, and then as James Ford said, being in Florida, they got election police, so they down there trying to scare people away from the polls, which is why we have to, I mean, let's just look at it like this. The pilgrims circle the wagons. We got to circle the wagons and defend ourselves on every level. And the first thing is to have, or to make sure. Now, I don't preach to my circle I'm in, but I let them know, hey, look, y'all need to vote. You know, if you preach, people tend to go away from you because they don't like to be lectured. But if you just make a suggestion and let it go, maybe give an example like you always give with me, Theo, and I always like this, and so I have to use it. When you say that your roads, the stop signs, the lighting, and the services, all of those things are decided by politicians. So if they're decided by politicians, we should decide what politicians make those decisions.
Right.
I always like that.
Exactly. And you know, we need to talk about it more. When I was growing up, I used to hear him say, you don't talk about religion, you don't talk about politics. And that never made sense to me. Because you had these people going door to door, ringing the bell, knocking on the door, talking about religion. And I'm like, well, if they can talk about religion, why can't I? You know?
Again, that's a way to kind of shut the door on and say, well, just don't pay no attention and let it be what it's going to be. But I believe in as I said when I responded to the guy on Facebook, I believe in an intelligent, active conversation. And there's nothing off the table. When something affects your life, you have to discuss it. You know, you don't say, well, we don't want to get into that. That's what somebody tells you, and you say, well, I guess you're right. Well, we're going to leave that alone. We're just going to go to work, hit the clock.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's totally crazy. And when you hear, because they do talk about it on the news from time to time, not as often as other things, but they tell you in these different states how the legislators have changed laws to make it more difficult for people of color, in color. I like that.
Yeah, with color, yeah.
And the black folk in particular, harder for them to vote. And it's because of the importance of our vote. If it was not important, they wouldn't be trying to get rid of it.
I say get in their face and stay in their face. Just like John Lewis spoke about, you know, making there's a phrase he used, but let's just say, righteous troublemakers, more or less. We're going to be in the position where we're not going to be quiet about anything, and we're not going to let you silence us either. Because that's two things. We can be quiet and not say nothing, so that means they won. Or they can try to silence us by overwhelming us with whatever they got to say. But in either case, y'all, look out. Hood Research is here, and we don't zip our lip. We speak.
And we'll continue to talk about Black history on a regular basis, too. Because this 1 month a year for Black history is not going to be accepted.
And I like what you said, Sylvia, about wearing T-shirts, because Theo has often said, and another thing I liked as well, is that a T-shirt is like a walking billboard. You don't have to say anything. The T-shirt can say it for you. If I've got the Last Poets on, and I do have Mark's T-shirt on, Are You Tired of Racism? That says a lot in itself. You don't have to say a word. Your T-shirt speaks for itself. So when you were saying that about St. Patrick's, let us, as you put it, I'm going to repeat your phrase, education, clarification. As you said that's what we need to have, things that acknowledge. We don't have to say nothing, because one of the things it does is it provokes a conversation as well.
Right.
If you got something on, somebody is going to inquire about, oh, I didn't know that. And that's a beautiful thing to enlighten people.
And have one like that. That's right. Sure. Sylvia, got a poem for us today? Oh, we lost Sylvia?
No, she's there. But, being at home and so many things you can be tied into. But again, I would say that we have to make that point. And I always say, start with the people around you. If you're in church, start with your church members.
Right.
If you're on a job, start with your coworkers. Some are going to be receptive and some are into their own thing. But, you don't know what fish you're going to catch until you throw your line out in the water. And you're not going to catch every fish in the river, but if you catch one, then it's like each one teach one, each one reach one. That's our job. That's what we do at Hood Research. And I heard somebody use Theo's phrase on another show today. They were saying people would do better if they knew better. I said, well, I know where they heard that from. They got it from Hood Research first, and then. But if it's a good phrase, I think it's also necessary to spread it around too. We need phrases like, and I'm going to use, like we were talking about defund the police. I think we got Sylvia back. Her clipped off, so let me hit this button. Hello, you're on the air. Would you share your name, how you're viewing us? Hello, caller. Okay, I believe that's Sly Soul. But one of the things I wanted to say is that when we speak about phrases, that's why while I was in my collegiate days, I had to read Mein Kampf, which is a book that was written by, let's try this again. Hello, caller, you're on the air. I believe hello? I believe it may be your phone. But in the book Mein Kampf, which Adolf Hitler wrote, and I still have that book, the way he was able to rally the Germans was to say, let's get some phrases together, which defund the police is a phrase which they took and then they just twisted it their own way. But just to be able to get, let's try this again. Hello, caller, you're on the air. I believe it may be your phone because we have you on the air, but I believe it may be your phone while we're not making a connection. Oh. Okay. Hello, caller. Hello? Okay. What I was going to say is that he took a few phrases. He was able to rally the Germans to oppose the Jewish population. So they were ignorant in terms of knowing anything, but he was able to take a phrase and use it over and over and over again. He said that was his strategy. So let us use his strategy to take phrases, because our people may not read like they should. Like they say, if you put it in a book, they're probably going to miss it. So what we do is we get phrases like "I'm black and I'm proud," a phrase.
Right.
Very effective.
That was a good,
Okay.
Say it loud.
Hello, caller. You're on the air.
I can hear y'all.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you are.
Oh, wow. I'm just listening and listening. Yeah, I do have a poem if you want me to do one. But you know what I was
Yes.
thinking is technology. We can take advantage of technology to reach and teach more people. And like I was saying with the T-shirts, we can walk around and be a walking education, clarification, identification,
All
point of
right.
views.
Okay, are you ready?
Oh, okay, wealth building status. Every other ethnic group has it. Family, energy, and resources. Unite those powerful tools to build your own community, education, communication, information, and schools. Approach situations on a more positive level. Build tribes and villages that don't create havoc. Stop whining, complaining, blaming, trying to be shaming. Stop the negative energy. Start gathering your own like minds to change lives into prosperity, that good life, spiritually, healing, healthy, wealthy, and security. Let that be. Thanks for taking my call. We get further with positive energy, y'all.
I like what you
That's
said
good.
because there's a thing that we used to say in the community and say, yeah, I'm getting good vibes or bad vibes from somebody. Well, that's the same thing as like what you're referring to in terms of energy. People can feel that energy. We don't know how strong that spiritual, the aura around us, that spiritual energy, the vibrations we give off. Again, we coin phrases in our community like, yeah, man, I'm getting bad vibes from it. And one of the things I discovered in my own spiritual journey is that children and animals can, they're more sensitive to positive and negative spirits. So if a child tends to pull away from someone, or if an animal tends to be a little bit more aggressive or something, that lets you know that maybe that spirit around you is not that good. So I love what you said. I always love what you say, honestly, Sly.
Thank you.
So it's inspiration to me to keep my pen moving too. But yeah, truly it is. So that positive energy, people can feel when you got that positive energy about yourself, and they gravitate towards that. But on the other level, there's people who love the negative and they'll gravitate towards that. So they want to do
Right.
something but then when we feel that, we know that we have to just say something and move on. Even in the scriptures, which I have questions with some of the things, it said, Yeshua, which people call Jesus, said that if you go into a town trying to spread the message and people don't receive it, he said, just knock the dust or the sand off your shoes and keep moving. So that's where we got to be. We try to
keep moving.
keep it moving. If they ain't trying to hear you, don't waste your time, because there's somebody who does want to listen.
Oh, no,
Right.
that's
That's
good.
right.
You should do a book. I'm just throwing it out there, Sly. So you should put a book together, because just like if I wrote a letter to somebody, it becomes more endearing when you can hold it and read it and reflect.
Right.
And then you don't have
Theo encourages me all the time.
Yeah, well, okay, now it's two of us, and you outnumbered.
Yeah, right. You outnumbered.
Okay.
Oh
Three heads
man,
bigger than one.
we are going to have to look into having something in-house outdoors or something, because people are getting cabin fever, and the governor has said you can remove your mask and businesses can be open. But after a while, we started hearing from those who participate with us that they want to have a meeting, in-person meeting. So we are looking into that. But Hood Research, for those who may not know, is 30 years old this year, and we want to have a luncheon during the month of July. So that is letting people know and soak in that idea of what we are looking forward to doing. And if you have any ideas on it, just call Hood Research and let
Yeah,
us
we can
know.
do our research on a nice place to use. I would like to go back on the water like we did last time.
Oh yes, I like
Yeah.
having events
On the
on
boat
the
docks
water.
or something over
Yeah,
there by the boat dock.
right. Right. So we need to check into additional places.
Yeah, we got to do research.
Find out. Right. The telephone number for Hood Research is area code 248-234-2371. Again, area code 248-234-2371.
And we just we open our arms just like the church does, and we invite you to become a part of Hood Research, because we all need to be a part of something that's moving forward. And 30 years in the game is a long time, so longevity has its place, and it shows the foundation was set well, and we were able to build up on that. Theo Broughton and Reggie Crawford. So we invite you to become a part of that. We all need to be a part of something. That's why we welcome your voice, your ideas and opinions, and then we look to through that gain a consensus. And I'm going to let Theo have the next word. We have about 60 to 90 seconds left.
Oh, my goodness, my goodness. Well, thank you, Sylvia, for being with us this morning and for sharing your talent with us by way of poetry. We really appreciate that. And for those of you who enjoy Hood Research, think about joining us. The telephone number, once again, is area code 248-234-2371. And I want you to know that we have a Facebook page, which is hoodresearch.org. And we want you to follow us on Twitter, of course. And we would like you to share information about Hood Research with your family and friends and co-workers and classmates and church members. Oh, the church members, yes. And let them know that Hood Research is an organization that advocates for members of the community on an ongoing basis. And we want you to know that if you log on to our website, you can find out about the other days where we do our programming. And Thabiti?
Yes, so I would like to say, as I always say at the end of the program, if you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're finished.
Absolutely, and it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. And we at Hood Research seek out as much information as we can to share with you to help us all make better informed decisions. Peace.
Feedback. 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 Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinda.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback,
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
And take us along with you.
Feedback, feedback, feedback.